Dear Journal, in my first entry I was doing the cache Broken Arrow that had the Morse code box, the railway etchings, and the container itself was a giant missile. I mentioned that it was part of a series. This series has its hooks in me, and it's called Space 2081, a Geocaching Odyssey Challenge. A group of anonymous cachers have placed 81 caches throughout southeastern Pennsylvania. In fact, SPACE stands for Southeastern Pennsylvania Association of Caching Enthusiasts. There is one cache for each possible terrain and difficulty combination for a total of 81 caches. Inside each cache is a code word needed to unlock the location of the final 82nd cache, which has become a bit of a subquest in my ultimate goal of finding 10,000 caches. Here's a quick refresher on the geocaching difficulty and terrain rating system. It's a 1 to 5 scale with halvesies allowed, so if the difficulty is rated 1, it should be simple to find or in a relatively obvious location. If it's a 5, then you have some Da Vinci Code tier puzzle going on or some insane camouflage. For the terrain, 1, real easy to get to, you could probably roll up to it in your car. And 5 means you might, need a boat or some climbing gear. It's going to be difficult. How do I get there? So that cache from my first entry, Broken Arrow, was a difficulty 4.5 and terrain 2.5. That required multiple trips, there was some puzzle solving that I needed help on, and so forth. Now, Geoforce be with you, that was a difficulty 3.5, terrain 5.0. I'm not too sure about the terrain rating, but who am I to pick nits? This cache was pretty awesome and gets a favorite point from me. SPACE isn't just an acronym, but describes the overall sci-fi nature of the names and descriptions. Obviously, the people involved have put some thought and care into this, not just for the construction and placement, but the overall theme. At a multi-cache called We Are Borg, difficulty 4, terrain 2.5, I suffered from my usual paranoia of looking too weird out in the open. And despite there being a note on the cache page about the cache not being in anything electrical, I still suspected some sort of red herring. And I was too focused on this pole, twisting and turning things. Eventually, I started looking elsewhere and ended up getting the coordinates to the second stage, which held one further and sort of Borg-shaped challenge for a bitter and windy day.
Alright, this is We Are Borg Stage 2, over in the tree over there with this box. I've got to... I don't know where I have to get the ball to make it open up. I'm not entirely sure. Alright, I have to get the ball there to push the lever down. Aha! I've gotten the ball in place. I've only been here for 10 minutes now. With the ball in place, this should pop up. Sweet Caroline! I have myself a cache. And the secret word is...
Well, I'm not just going to show the codes here, Journal. Security issue. And it would probably be poor form. Besides, the space crew has made it known that you need to have your name signed in all the logs to be able to claim the 82nd find. Another Trek-themed cache for this journal entry is Captain's Log. Difficulty 2, terrain 3.5, a clever title that also serves as a clue for this hide in the middle of the woods.
The difficulty 2, a terrain 3.5, and you know what, I completely agree with that assessment. There's no trail per se leading back here, and if it weren't for the actual name of the cache, Captain's Log, following in the space theme, I wouldn't have been picking up all these goddamn logs out here. But this seemed, when I stumbled upon it, to be the likely culprit. And lo and behold, it is. Yeah, so terrain 3.5, I concur. I have to get the old tweezers out. I had to go through a fence. I'm not even sure if anybody should be back here. I had to go through a hole in the fence, cross over a creek down there. There's really only one place to park.
I'm not bitching, Journal, just observing and jibber-jabbering. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't like it. That's it for now, Journal. I have found 8 out of 81 space caches so far, yet I only have 7 codes written down, so I need to go figure that one out. I'll get back to you after I've found a few more in this entertaining and engaging series.